Hi, my name is Randy Scrapper, and I'm a Principal Emerging Practice Architect here at ServiceNow. Today I'll be talking to you about a new feature called User Resolution Rules for either SaaS or SSO integration. In the video today, we'll first start off talking about that use case of this new feature of why we need this and the user matching. Then we'll go into what is a user resolution rule, why is it important, and how does it work? Let's talk about the use case and what is user matching. So SaaS subscriptions, they integrate with the ServiceNow SAM Pro module to pull in the user subscription information from the SaaS portals such as M365, PagerDuty, or Zoom. And this helps determine the accurate compliance position as well as giving you optimization opportunities. Now, it is very important in this process to be able to match the users from the ServiceNow instance to those portals. So ServiceNow has a subscription compliance user matching process, which is out of the box, which first looks at to try to match those users by using the UPN, and we call that the user principal name, on the subscription with the mail ID on the user table, which in your instance. If there's no match, ServiceNow will then try to trim off the domain on the UPN. So that's removing anything that's after the at, right? And then it tries to match it with the username on the sysuser table in your instance. However, there are situations when these processes will not work. Users will fail to match, and they might need to require to create a complex script to be able to match those up. This is not practical for asset managers. We sometimes don't have the expertise in coding to do this. So we asked the question, how does the asset manager, how can I resolve users that do not match? And with this new feature, user resolution rules, this allows asset managers to create a repeatable matching criteria, simplifying the process. So what are user resolution rules? So these are those rules that you're going to be able to make, those asset managers are going to be able to make, that will assist you in mapping that user field on that software subscription to that user on the sysuser table in the Now platform. And we'll discuss each one of these fields in a little bit more detail in the demo. Why are user resolution rules important? They give the asset managers uh, a way to quickly create a repeatable match those SaaS subscription users to users in your instance that aren't being matched by the out-of-the-box user resolution rules. It also eliminates the manual effort to reconcile those users to understand your license subscription compliance. So I'm going to jump into an instance and give you an overview of how to create a user resolution rule and see it in action. Okay, so let's jump into my demo instance. So let's first pull up the subscription user table, my user subscription, as well as the user, my user ID on the user table, and that we'll be using for this demo. So in this right here, we're looking at my PagerDuty software subscription. And we can see the subscription is for a PagerDuty full user subscription. Take note of my user principal name since that is the field that we're going to be used to match. If there is a match, the user field would be filled in. And now we can see that, right now the user field is not in, so it's not matching. So, let's pull up the user, my user record in ServiceNow, and let's walk through the out-of-the-box ways that that ServiceNow uses to match users and explain why this isn't working. So the first test takes the user principal name here on the software installation record and tries to map it to the email address ID on the sys user table. Now, if we look close, they don't match because of the domains on both of these. So with that first step failing, then the next step is to take this user principal name and remove the domain. So it's taking off anything after the ServiceNow.com, and it's coming over here to match the user ID. And this says Randy Scrapper, and this is over here, it says Randolph Scrapper. So that's not going to match, and that's just why we're giving this, the user is not matching. So this is the challenge that many asset managers might face when they're trying to make these matches. And so with this, we need to create a user resolution rules. So let me navigate over to the workspace. I'll come down to the license operations, and I'll come over down to the user resolution rules. And as you see, I have one here. It's not active, but we're going to head and open this up. This is my PagerDuty resolution rule. And we'll kind of go through each of these steps, each of these fields first. So we'll need to create a username. When you create one, you'll need to create a unique name for it. If it's active, obviously, it's active. You can put it there or not. It comes off as a SaaS, but there are other things that we talked about too. These could be used it could be used for SaaS or SSO. So you'll want to choose one of the ones you want to choose, and we're going to go with SaaS. Now, if we wanted to apply it to which application we want to apply it to, we go ahead and just click on that field. It gives us a drop down of 43 other subscriptions that we have in our instance that we can go ahead and apply these to. However, we're just going to use it to apply it to PagerDuty. Now, if I had nothing in the applies to, it's going to apply to all the SaaS integrations. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're taking the source table, so we're taking the software subscription table, and we're trying to match it to the user principal name, that UPN number. Now, you're able to use any other field on that software subscription table to go ahead and do that match, but we're just going to go ahead and do this one. And we're going to try to map, that user on the software subscription to the user table. And now we have to determine the field that we want to use, right? And we can use any field on that user table that we think would work out the best. Now, and when we come down over here, we have a couple of different ways to do a transform the information to be able to put it so it can either match. So the first way is, there's nothing, so we don't do anything, and we just use out of the box. The next one was just to remove the domain, and we know that that's probably not going to work in our situation. We could replace the domain, or actually we can create a script down here to make, if there's something was a little bit more complicated, we could create a script. Now, this is only available, the script part is only available to admins, so that's a little caveat to that one. So, and then, if we are going to replace the domain, we're going to have this new field that shows up as what we're going to put in that for that domain. And we're going to go ahead and use test.com because if we go back and look, the user principal name says Randolph Scrapper at ServiceNow.com. However, the email address is Randolph Scrapper at test.com. So we see that the domain is what's throwing it off in this example. So we're going to go ahead and make this active. And quickly again, we're saying the software subscription. We're going to use the user principal name. We're going to match it to the email address on the user field, and we're going to replace that the domain on the software subscription to test.com in order to run this. So let's go ahead and save this. All right, and we are going to jump back to the the direct integration, and we'll run these rules real quick. We go to scheduled jobs, integration, and we're going to go ahead and just kick this one off. Execute now. All right, this is done. So now we can go back over to the user subscription, and we'll refresh this page. And there it goes. Now we have a match because the user field is filled out here. And now it matches this username over here. So it matches. Now we can, if we go ahead and unactivate it again, so we go back to the page of rule and unactivate it and rerun this job, we're going to go back to the subscription, refresh this page. And again, that user is not found. So that was quickly a quick demo of how this works. I hope you guys found this demo useful. Okay, in summary, today we reviewed what are user resolution rules, why those rules are important, and we demonstrated how to manually create those user resolution rules, and we showed how it works today. And if there's more information you'd like to get on these, we have more information on our doc site around the user resolution rules. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll look forward to joining you in further sessions. Thank you. Bye-bye.